In this session, we're going to talk about developing your networking strategy. Without a networking strategy, you may feel like you're just spinning your wheels, not getting traction, um, not getting results from talking with people that may not help you, or may not even be in a position to help. So it's really important for you to develop your networking strategy, and specifically what that looks like is in our time today, we're going to help you create your career mission statement. So knowing what general direction you want to take your career, and then who is your target audience, and then want to make sure you're able to ask for help. It's a common thing, but sometimes we think, again, maybe there's pride, maybe um, we just want to be seen as independent, and we don't ask for help when we should. And so what that can look like is we end up being really generic in what our requests are. And when we're super generic, that just leaves people not sure about how they can help. And so the goal is to really provide uh, people ideas so that they can know exactly how they can help you and offer those up. So all three of those combined, your career mission statement, your target audience, and your ability to ask for your help will all help you move forward um, in your career as you're developing your networking skills. Okay, so first we're going to talk about the career mission statement. So it's not just one statement. It could be that you have a couple of mission statements. So for example, I've got two. Um, if you look at my LinkedIn, it's all about networking. Well, um, I've got a 9 to 5 job where I'm a change management consultant. I don't post about that stuff on LinkedIn. I keep them two separate things. I've got two different career mission statements. One is I help those with a discomfort in networking find invisible opportunities. So that's one career mission statement. The other one is I help government agencies streamline their processes and create enriched experiences for their stakeholders. So that there's no overlap in those career statements. That's okay. Okay. Now, if you're not sure what's next and you're looking for 3 or 4 different types of roles and each one is a little bit different career mission statement, I'd say that's okay. But what's better is really reflecting on what's more important and nailing it down to no more than two. If you can nail it down to no more than two, now you're dividing your time, not only application time, but networking time into those general areas. If you've got 4 different career mission statements that you're pursuing, now you're spreading yourself too thin and you're going to render yourself less effective. Okay. So, um, you know, really try to keep no more than 2 different career mission statements. Okay. They evolve over time. It could be, oh, well, as I went down this path, I learned this. And so as a result, I want to adjust my career mission statement. Absolutely. You know, there are no career mission statement judges out there that say, hey, well, we noticed in February you changed your career mission statement. Why? Nobody's going to do that, of course. That would be silly. Uh, Now, if you're changing your career mission statement every week, yeah, that might cause some issues. But again, they do evolve over time. And the most important thing here is the more narrow that you can be, the better, right? So if I can say rather than I help, uh, let's see, what's a good example? Say I'm a project manager. And as a project manager, I say, well, I help teams streamline their activities and accomplish what they set out to do. Okay, that's really broad. Now, even though people think, yeah, but if you narrow down, you're going to limit your opportunities. The converse is true because when we get more specific and we use a specific language about who we're helping and being narrow there, we're doing a couple things. Number one, we're identifying who our target audience is. And so that makes it easier for people to say, oh, I know who I want you to connect you with. This person's a nurse or that person's a doctor. Okay. Secondly is you can now use that lexicon within that career track or that industry, and that gives credibility to yourself. Whereas if you're just I'll beat up as a coach, I'm going to beat up on leadership coaches. If I just generically say, hey, I help teams work better together. Okay, great. You know, if I were to swing a stick, I could hit 1,000 different leadership coaches that say the same thing. What makes you different? What makes you stand out? What makes you competitive? Okay. So going back to the project manager example, you know, I help healthcare teams uh, change or adopt change quicker by doing this, this, and this. And I obviously didn't come up with real specifics there, but if I'm able to use my experiences to really refine that and say, yeah, here's the work that I've done for the healthcare industry, then boom, it's going to lead to my credibility and it's going to actually give me more opportunities. Okay. So our career mission statement really boils down to these three questions. I'll give you a fourth question as well, to take it a little bit different way. But bottom line is, who do you help, right? And that's where we want to get narrow. Okay, you don't want to get too narrow. I help middle school teachers in Central Arkansas that have the last name between M through K or M through P. That's obviously way too narrow, right? But you do want to be able to, again, show that you know their industry, you are credible with that market, and you can define it. And if you're just starting out in a particular market, that's okay. If you've got that long runway, whether say you're in school or you've received a decent severance package, investigate, start conducting informational discussions with people so that you can learn about what their pain points are and where your expertise fits in and what you can do to help. Okay. So again, first question, who do you help? The more specific, the better. Number two, what is it you help them achieve? And number three, what challenges do they overcome? Okay. This will be an interactive workshop. We'll have these questions again at the end for you. So if you want to write them down now, great. If you don't want to, that's okay too. Again, I'll have these available for you when we do our exercise. Okay, here's a couple examples for you. So, I help healthcare leaders gain commitment to integrate care and minimize resistance. Okay, so that's what I do. One of the things that I do as a change management consultant. So rather than saying I'm a change management consultant, this kind of prevents people from saying, well, what does that mean? So it's highlighting who I help, what I help them achieve, and what benefits they realize from working with me. Okay. Second example, I help elementary school teachers determine their next career steps and regain their life. Okay. What's the pain point there? Well, a lot of teachers are leaving education because they're overworked. Um, they're not treated like professionals, and they're just overwhelmed um, by being a teacher. Perhaps it's the parents and the students themselves uh, that aren't showing appreciation for what they do. So lots of things there, but ultimately, uh, looking at, okay, well, who am I helping? What is it I'm helping them achieve? And what are the benefits what are the benefits they're receiving as a result? Okay. I did allude to a fourth question. So that fourth question is, what are common objections that you may hear? Okay, so let's go to that second example. Well, people that are looking to leave education, they may not have a ton of money to hire a coach. So then I could add something else. Just building off of what's already there, I help elementary school teachers determine their next career steps and regain their life without, so that's the key word, without costing an arm and a leg. Okay. So by addressing that objection up front, I can now speak to how I'm helping, and then that may make someone a little bit less cynical and interested in learning a little bit more about what I do. Okay, so those are some career mission statement examples. Okay, so we're going to jump right to it. 10 minutes. I've added some additional questions just to help you, jar some memories loose, to help you identify again, those core questions to help you identify your career mission statement. So you can see here that those questions being number 1 and 2, what projects did you feel the most fulfilled? And then 2, what skills did you enjoy using on those projects? So helping that uh, go towards, what are the challenges you want to help others solve? Who did you help? And then what did you help them achieve? So you can see not that quite the same order. We're working at it backwards. But then you can see at the bottom there, I've got the framework and the template for you to string your answers together. Okay. So again, I'm going to give you 10 minutes. I'm going to come off camera and then we're going to see how you did at the end of those 10 minutes. And so with that, your 10 minutes starts now. Okay, so how'd it go for you? Hmm. At the end of this discussion, I'll include my contact information. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Let me know what questions you have, and we can go forward from there. Okay, but hopefully you found this to be a useful exercise, and just revisit those guidelines real quickly. Number one, the more specific you can be, the better. And number two, um, they'll evolve over time and you can have more than one. It just doesn't have to be for your 9 to 5 role. It can be for a side gig role, or if your 9 to 5 role, you're trying to decide among two different things. Just you can have, two different career mission statements accordingly. But again, you don't want to spread yourself too thin. So, um, my recommendation to you is no more than two. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at target audience. So this will help you with respect to, smaller groups and not necessarily, the industry type or, hiring managers, but and this is broader than just those that are career searching. This could be you're launching your own business or you're you're looking for more growth with your business. So this is for networking for job searchers, for business owners, etc. Okay, so ultimately, within that market that you're considering, of the people that you want to help, who are the decision makers? Who can hire you, either as an employee or as a client? Okay. Another one is, hey, who's serving in that current role that maybe they made a similar transition to you? Maybe they had a similar pivot, or maybe they went to the same school as you, and they're in the organization that you want to end up supporting. So who are the people that are serving in that role? Okay. Where are the decision makers and the people that are performing your role? What professional organizations do they belong to? Great way to meet them, shake their hands, go to real-time events. So whether it's Project Management Institute, whether it's um, the International Coaching Federation, whether it's um, let's see, SHRM, the Society for Human Resource Management, ATD, Association for Talent Development, and that's just kind of on the career development side of things. Finance professionals, engineers, um, lots of different little professional organization groups that have chapters throughout the nation. And I would even submit now, in our post-COVID days, that you're not restricted to just that location. You can join virtually and you can meet others virtually. So, join those professional organizations. And then ultimately, with this type of solution, going back to your current mission statement, with the solutions that you provide, the problems that you solve, you know, what are the organizations that are needing your help? And then the last question there, what are some of the alliances you can create? So for example, um, who's serving the same people, but in a different capacity, right? So if I'm a painter and I'm in in the niche of helping people, after flooding, helping them, get their drywall up and repainted after insurance claims. Well, there's other people that are serving those same customers, whether they're electricians, could be their plumbers, could be, etc. Well, if we form alliances together, we can refer each other to ourselves. And so I encourage you to think broader about hey, who else might I want to connect with? And this applies for seekers too. Like, oh, you're interested in this company? So am I. Um, what type of role are you looking for? And then you can build those alliances that way as well. Okay. So again, we've got another activity for you here. Where will you go to meet new people? I'm just going to touch on these really quickly. Um, so on the left-hand side, it's virtually. So you can meet new people virtually. You can develop relationships where, again, they're mutual. You're helping each other, even though you've never met them before in person. You can still develop those solid relationships. So I've got a few items for you to consider virtually and then for in person as well. So just real quickly, really use LinkedIn search feature. You'll be able to find, people that went to your school, people that used to work for companies you're currently working for now, or former employers, or you went to the same, well, I think I mentioned school already. Anything else in common? It could be religious affiliations. It could be, uh, nonprofits. You know, expand your horizons. Use the search feature to identify those people that you want to meet. Okay. There's also the groups. Although, full disclosure, a lot of the groups, people don't interact as much. They'll just drop in. Um, whatever link they want to drop in and then leave. But if you do find groups that are engaging and interactive and they're well moderated, then that's not the norm. And there are active discussions. So that's an opportunity for you to build relationships as well. LinkedIn Live events. If you're, say you find somebody that maybe they've got a little bit bigger of an audience than you do, and they're helping solve the same problem, you can join some of their LinkedIn events and you can learn more about, how they're positioning themselves. You can learn more about some of the nuances that their people they're serving face. So lots of different ways to identify, where you want to go to meet people virtually. Okay, and then in person, using your existing network. I'm starting off with the second bullet there. Who does your existing network, based upon your career mission statement that you developed earlier, who do they recommend that you connect with? Okay. And I haven't touched on that yet. We'll touch on that here in a little bit. But I really want you to get in the habit of asking open-ended questions, right? So not, do you know anybody that can help me? It's, who do you know that I should connect with? Okay. We mentioned the professional organizations. When are those events occurring? Where can you actually go and meet people? And then also look at Eventbrite or Meetup or, you know, other your LinkedIn feed to look for events that you can go in person and actually start to meet and grow those relationships that way. All right, so after recapping or after touching on each of those items for virtual and in person, now it's your turn. Where are you going to go to meet your target audience? Okay. Again, I'll give you 10 minutes. I'm going to go off camera, come back and check in with you. Okay, so how'd that go for you? Now, taking those two actions that we've gone over so far, your career mission statement and identifying where you want to go to meet your target audience. And remember, we narrow down on the kind of market and the people we want to meet, but then we expanded it to more than just the decision makers. We expanded it to uh, people that are already doing the role, people that may be an alliance. So, um, you know, hopefully with your career mission statement and knowing where you want to meet your target audience, those two items combined will define your networking strategy. Okay. Then the next piece of it that we're not going to go into today, but once you start developing the relationships and showing that you're a giver, um, you're going to be able to really form those solid relationships and people start asking you for help. And so it's really important for you to have that specific request down. And it can change from person to person. It doesn't have to be the same. If you think this person can help you with this part of your your transition, your growth, then ask them about that. If somebody else can help you with something else, ask about that. Just want to be clear here that your ask for help isn't necessarily the exact same from person to person. And in fact, I would say more often than not, it's going to be different from person to person. But the more specific you can be in your ask, that's going to help you. And we're going to touch on that here real briefly. And so here's a template. You just describe your situation. You state what you're interested in without the overarching outcome, right? If you're just meeting somebody, you don't want to say, I'm looking for a job, or, what roles do you think I should apply for? You're just going from 0 to 60 way, way too fast. Slow down. The analogy I like to use is, you know, if you're on a first date with somebody, you're not going to try and kiss them within the first 5 minutes. All right. You want to get to know them first. You're going to want to develop that relationship a little bit. Um, so going back to the template here, so state your situation, state what your interest is that's going to help you get to that ultimate outcome, and then ask that open-ended question. So let's go back to the teacher example. I'm considering making a pivot from education to becoming a project manager. I'm interested in meeting others who have made a similar pivot. Who do you recommend I connect with? Excuse me. So the first sentence is our situation. Very, specific, yet I don't need to go into a lot of detail. And then my interest. Yeah, I'm just interested in learning from others that have done something similar. Or it could be that, I'm interested in meeting project managers uh, that are willing to share some insights with me. Who do you recommend I connect with? So the key is, again, you ask that open-ended question at the end. If we were to reframe it and make it closed-ended, do you know anybody I should connect with? By default, we like to make things easier for ourselves. And so we're going to default to not giving that closed-ended question a lot of thought. Do you know anybody? Yeah, no, don't know anybody. Oh, who do you know? Oh, let me think about that. Who do I know? And then you start see the wheels turning, and they may not have an answer. And so it's always, helpful to say, hey, I don't need an answer now, but if you could just think about it, and if anything comes to mind, let me know. Or if you need a minute or two to think about it, please, take as much time as you need, and ultimately defer to them on where they want to take things. And when you're deferring things to them, you're on how they want to proceed. It's a very small, deliberate way to strengthen that relationship. Okay. So again, asking for help. Describe the situation, describe your interest, and then ask that open-ended question. Okay. So now that we've gone through the three key parts of not only, the first two parts, your career mission statement, your target audience, that's going to help you identify, where you want to go to meet people and what you're going to articulate to those people. And then by asking for help, people are going to be able to get you along further on the route that you're taking. So those are the three main components of your networking strategy. So just take a minute here, reflect. What did you find insightful? What are you going to try first? And I'll just leave those up for, I said a minute, but about another 20 seconds or so. And I'm curious on the progress you're going to make. So drop me a line, let me know how things are going for you. Uh, there's my LinkedIn account up top. You see my email address there as well, and my phone number. If you wanted to text me, let me know how things are working out for you, or if you have questions. Happy to answer questions that pop up as you're developing your networking strategy. And so with that, that concludes this workshop. So thanks for your time and your attention, and wishing you good health, happy networking, and continued success. So take care and have a great day, everybody.